Movie and horror junkies, welcome back to another blood-splattered episode of Twin Flicks, where we're here celebrating the magic of movies and horror and physical media with you. Now, I've always been a sucker for horror anthology shows and movies. Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, you name it. I don't care how cheap or silly the story looks and is, I just eat it up. I love it. And Creepshow is definitely no exception. Now, Shout Factory released Creepshow on 4K a few years ago, which I did do a comparison of. If you haven't checked that out, definitely go check it out, because there's some nice improvements here between this and the Blu-ray. The link is down below in the description. And I also watched the Creepshow series religiously that was on Shudder. It lasted 4 great seasons and is now coming out on Blu-ray in this really awesome box set that I already have on order. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't you order this? And now we have from Arrow Video Creepshow 2 on 4K UHD in this really nice looking box set. Now, Arrow Video did originally release Creepshow 2 on this Blu-ray back in 2016, which was struck from a 2K scan of the original camera negative. And honestly, it looked great. And I honestly didn't think this could look any better than it does right here. Well, now Creepshow has been given a 4K scan of the original 35mm negative, forming a 4K DI with HDR10 and Dolby Vision grading, and preserving its theatrical ratio of 1:8:5:1, and the restoration work was handled and completed by Arrow Video. Alright guys, so it's that time. Let's dive in and take a closer look at Creepshow 2 on 4K UHD against Arrow Video's previous 2K Blu-ray, and let's see if this 4K is really worth the upgrade. Now first off, the previous Arrow Video 2K Blu-ray was awesome. It was definitely no slouch. It looked great for its time, but it's immediately obvious the nice improvements here with this 4K. I wouldn't say it's a night and day difference, but there are definitely some nice improvements here. The HDR10 Dolby Vision grading really opens up the color gamut much wider now, from bright vivid candy reds, and of course the more crimson, gory, deep blood reds that carries more depth and nuances within the reds. And other various shades of blues look more natural and truer to that shade of blue that's been used. Yellows are also energetic and ignites the screen with bright and deep yellows. And then we have all those secondary colors from purples and pinks and all those earthy tones that really springs to life, while also still faithfully retaining the late 80s low-budget horror aesthetic. The saturation is handled better here on this 4K without it looking artificially applied or too hot. That really helps with skin tones looking naturally warm. Unlike the 2K Blu-ray, where the skin tones lean slightly towards the palish side. The saturation also helps in balancing out the colors and keeping them looking natural and lifelike. The contrast here on this 4K is also better, that's wider, that works wonders for daylight scenes looking naturally lit, especially during the raft segment that was slightly overly exposed on a 2K Blu-ray. Highlights are another nice improvement here on this 4K, where I noticed the 2K Blu-ray had some blown out or even some slightly hot spots. Now with the 4K, the highlights are balanced out, looking more natural without any blown out or hot spots that I could find. The new 4K scan and the HDR10 Dolby Vision grading has now enhanced the black levels, giving off some really nice, deep, inky, and truer looking black levels. And also some really healthy, strong looking shadows. That really helps with night that now goes dark. And other areas are pitch black, such as with black clothing or the black oil monster during the raft story. That actually looks slightly better than the 2K Blu-ray. However, I did notice an area with some really heavy crushing, and that is during the hitchhiker segment. But honestly, it's always had this issue. I remember looking this way on DVD, and both the Arrow Video Blu-ray and the Image Blu-ray. And it is a known inherited issue with this segment. It was just how the segment was shot. So this is not an issue with the 4K scan. Other segments with the truer looking black levels helps in drawing out more information, and there's clear visibility even within the darkest, murkiest areas. It's not a huge night and day difference, but it is a nice improvement over the 2K Blu-ray. The higher 2160p resolution gives more finer lines that really gives off excellent clarity, and it looks as razor sharp as it can be. What the late 80s lenses picked up is what we see on our TVs. The first area I notice of improvement is with the framing. It's better than previous releases, including the Arrow 2K Blu-ray. And the 4K scan gives off a much stronger looking transfer with some clear and active details and textures from skin textures. Objects carry a nice sheen to them, but it's really the horror aspect that's a real treat here on this 4K. The new 4K scan and the HDR10 Dolby Vision grading really ups the gore factor, where we can now make out even the slightest areas of gruesome makeup. The makeup effects and gore carry stronger nuances throughout and looking slightly more lifelike than the previous Arrow 2K Blu-ray. I also notice there's much more depth and better three-dimensionality here on this 4K than the 2K Blu-ray. Overall, the 4K scan carries a nice, healthy, strong-looking transfer that really showcases the production value, the makeup and effects, and the cinematography, filming in 1.85:1 frame. The grain structure on this 4K is excellent, giving off a natural 35mm appearance that looks very filmic. Alright guys, now let's dive into the audio presentation of this 4K. It includes three audio tracks to choose from. We have a PCM mono and stereo mixes, and a DTS 5.1 mix, which honestly are the same mixes that was used on Arrow Video's 2K Blu-ray. And there's not a great deal of difference between the terms of fidelity and spacing and low frequency between the three audio mixes. The 5.1 mix I did stick with. It is more or less a stereo-driven mix, but the dialogue I thought sounded a little clearer across all three, and the score sounded better too, and the ambient effects and sound effects I thought sounded better as well than the stereo and the mono mixes. Overall though, all three sound great, and it's really just going to come down to personal preference. Guys, Arrow Video has hit it out of the park once again with their 4K presentation, and Creepshow 2 is an excellent 4K UHD presentation and a worthy upgrade from your previous Arrow 2K Blu-ray or your Image Blu-ray release. Or if you don't already own it and love these type of horror movies, then it's definitely worth picking up and adding to your collection. But now head over to the comment section and let me know, when you look at the differences here between Arrow Video's 2K Blu-ray release and their new 4K UHD release, which do you think looks better? Or do you see much difference at all? Head over to the comment section and let me know. Again guys, the 2K Arrow Video is perfectly fine, but if you have a 4K UHD setup, you definitely want to grab this 4K release. It does up the ante against this Blu-ray. As always guys, thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes here as we dive into Creepshow in 4K UHD. Remember, keep physical media alive and stay tuned for another 4K versus Blu-ray comparison.
Twin Flicks presents